We begin the second hour with some interesting comments from Deshaun Watson. Both Deshaun and Shedeur spoke yesterday at Brown's training camp. But Deshaun Watson was asked about, can he play? Can he be the guy all these years later that we saw in Houston and was the reason why most of us, outside of Jay, wanted the Browns to trade for Deshaun Watson because he was a fantastic player in Houston. And here's what he said. This is his comments of what he said when he was asked that. I'm a different man. I think ever since I've been here early on, bringing up Houston was cool, but I'm 30 now. I had some injuries and things like that. So my game has definitely changed, but the mentality in how I play and how I approach it doesn't. I think it's easy to take that, and I know none of us really think he can be good at this point, or at least as good as he was in Houston. I think it's easy to take that as I can't be as good a player. I don't know if he's saying that. I think he may be just saying I'm a different player. I don't know that he's, even though we all think it, I don't know that he's necessarily saying I can't be as good a player, but maybe he's saying he could be a different type of good player. I don't know. What do you take of it?
First off, I liked his answer. And we'll get to Todd Monken's response to a similar question in a second.
Yeah.
But I think Deshaun answered it exactly the right way. He's never going to be the same player or person he was in 2018 and 2019 and 2020 before all the scandal broke, before he took a year off from the game, then got hurt and all.
No, he's got hurt multiple times.
I'm just clumping into one thing. He's a different man now. He's a different person now. He's not the same player. We have yet to see any ounce of indication that he can become the same player.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's impossible to still be an impactful, effective quarterback in the NFL. We'll get to the next part of that, which is what Monken said, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. And even, I'll use myself in a basketball term. I'm a much different player now than I was when I was 23. When I play pickup, granted it's different, levels, but I do things differently. It doesn't mean I'm worse than I was. I just operate a different manner because my body can't do some of the things that I was able to do 10 years ago. And Deshaun Watson now may not be the same physical specimen he was coming out of Clemson, post 2 Achilles tears, post a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
He may not see defenses in the exact same light he did when he was playing for Bill O'Brien because of a new system, a new coaching staff, a new everything around him. But it doesn't mean he can't still become an effective quarterback if all the things fall into place. And I think it's kind of telling that Deshaun is willing to admit, yeah, that version of me is gone, but it doesn't mean I still can't be an impactful, effective player on the NFL level.
Well, so I always talk about what your skill set is, right? And sometimes your skill set, if your superpower is I can play out of structure, I can scramble, I can throw deep balls, I can move, I can extend plays. And it's difficult sometimes when that is your superpower. If you start with that as your base power, right? I always talk about X-Men or Marvel characters, right? Some people have a base power where, it's pretty good. Like, all right, Nightcrawler could just go through different dimensions. That's nice. But like Magneto could just do like 5 different things. He can manipulate metal. He can like the whole magnetosphere. Like he can fly. He can do all kind of stuff. Like, and it's levels to it. So what happens if you take Nightcrawler and you say, well, you can't disappear into different dimensions all over the place?
And he's useless.
What are you gonna do? He can't fly nothing. He just out there. He just turns into beast.
Mm-hmm.
You just you're relatively like what? Like you're a good person. Like that don't count, bro. So for Deshaun Watson, his superpower was playing out of structure, finding ways to extend plays,
making stuff happen.
But when you strip that away and the arm ain't there, and then the legs is not there to extend, you have to then lean on something else. So if I'm asking you, if you said, what is he going to lean on? He's really good at understanding what the defense is on the board. But if you're not fast enough to process that information, then becoming a different player is tough. Like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had the neck injury, right? He was almost finished.
Yeah.
He had to relearn how to throw the football. But the thing Peyton Manning's strength was and his superpower was always this.
Yeah.
I'm still Professor X. I still understand. I'm smarter than everybody.
Yeah.
So I know where I need to throw the ball pre-snap before anybody do. And guess what? It may not get there faster because I don't got the arm anymore because of the surgery. But if I already know where it's going, I know where to get the ball to, and I can be more effective by playing with more anticipation rather than leaning on my arm. You see what I mean?
You can make up for some physical deficiencies by being that locked in mentally. Now, granted, we haven't seen a locked in Deshaun Watson who's able to process information that quickly since he's come to Cleveland. That's one of the things that we have all said ad nauseum. Hey, he's open, you got to throw it. And then by the time the ball's out of Deshaun's hands, the window's closed and it's led to some crazy interceptions. But for Deshaun to be the player that the Browns want him to be, that he wants to be, it's got to be up here moving 10 times faster than we've seen for the last 4 seasons.
What's the odds that that's going to make a significant jump?
Low. Like, objectively low.
Almost nil.
And let's be clear. I want to say this. There are many people. That's why I use mutants. There's very few people who can do what Peyton Manning or Tom Brady does.
5 people.
Like, that's like 6 people. Like, it's 6 whole people ever to do that. So to ask somebody to do something at that high of a level who haven't really shown it in their game, and it's already one of the deficiencies, that's why people are like, okay, well, it's going to have to take a lot to be able to get to a different player.
And it's a lot harder when you don't play. He hasn't played a ton of football.
Thing.
He's played in 19 of the 68 possible games since coming to the Cleveland Browns. It's one thing if you're going through the reps every day, the live bullets. Eventually, you're going to start processing things faster, right? Like, eventually, just naturally, the more you do something, the better you get at it. But he's played so infrequently during his tenure in Cleveland that I have a hard time believing, despite what Todd Monken said, which we'll get to in a sec, that part of it can come back. I almost feel like the physical side, theoretically speaking, should come back faster. Mm-hmm. But because of the injuries, the shoulder, the 2 Achilles, that may be gone for good. So he has to rely on his brain. And I just don't know, based on the evidence of what we have, the actual evidence, the tangible evidence that we could put our hands on, the film we could watch, the practice reps, all the encompassing, that makes me feel like he's actually processing the game faster. Yeah. And will be able to, despite the fact he didn't play at all in 2025, barely played in 2024, had his 2023 season cut short, took a year off, and that's all since he was an all-pro quarterback. It's been so long
that's
that I have just such a minimal level of faith.
The game has actually changed.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Not just the speed, like the literal game has changed. The way people play the game is just, it's daunting.
So Todd Monken was asked, because when Deshaun said this, then Todd Monken was asked in his press conference later, hey, Deshaun said this. What do you think? Do you think he could be the same player? He doesn't think he could be the same player was in Houston. Do you? And here's the lie that Todd Monken told. He said, well, first of all, I would never put limitations on a player. I'd hate that he would do that. Why can't he be? Why can't he play like that? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to say he can't until I see it. I've seen a lot of really good things over the course of the 4 or 5 months I've been here. I'm not going to put that on him. If he thinks he can't play like that, that's on him. I think he's done a lot of really good things athletically, making plays that we're going to get a chance to see because we're not live. We'll see if that comes to play when we get out there and go. I don't believe him. I don't believe he believes. I don't believe he believes that.
Is there anything he could have said that you would have believed?
Probably not.
After your rant on Tuesday.
It would have been hard to, but I don't believe that he believes that. There's no I know coaches are arrogant. You have to be arrogant to be a coach. You have to think you can get at something out of a player that nobody else can get or that many others can't get. But I don't believe that he believes that Deshaun Watson could play like he did in Houston because I can't imagine there's anybody on even Deshaun Watson saying he can't be that guy. There's no way Todd Monken believes that. I don't believe that.
That's what he was supposed to say.
Yeah.
Like,
it was the perfect answer for how he has to answer it.
Like, he has to answer it like that. And truthfully, like, you don't do yourself like, your wife says, hey, how do I look in this dress?
Yeah.
25-year-old G. Bush would be like, man, I don't know, bro. This is kind of JV. The size is a little tight. We might have to go back and get you a new dress. It's trash. Now, the older G. Bush might still not like the dress, but I'm going to temper what I say. Well, you look good in anything. If you're asking me, the difference between, what this dress looks like and this one, I say that this is a 9, this is a 9.5, right? You see what I'm saying?
It's fun to use that analogy because I was going to use if someone cooks you a meal.
Yeah.
And how was it? You're never going to say that was disgusting.
Yeah, that was
like
trash.
That was bad. But There are levels to it.
There's levels to it.
There it is.
You can tell when you're fully in and that meal was terrific and you're like, hey,
bro,
you got to start your own food truck.
Bro, this is crazy.
You guys selling this on Facebook Marketplace.
You keep coming back to it like, yo.
How do you have a 9 to 5?
This is crazy.
Hey, can I get seconds?
Yeah.
Can I take the leftovers?
Can I take some? Let me get that on the go.
Or you could be like, oh, that was good. You finish your plate because you're a polite person. And then, you look at your phone, you order DoorDash, you at your crib when you get back. Yeah,
I'm so stuffed.
He answered that question like, I'm so stuffed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's what he had to do. It was the perfect answer for the question that was asked when the guy you were talking about, and we have to keep this all into fact, is competing to be the starting quarterback for this team in the first week of the regular season. You can't go out and just trash him.
Well, of course he's not going to trash him.
That's why it's the perfect answer. He answered exactly how he was supposed to answer.
Right.
Exactly how he was supposed to answer.
But I don't believe him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I just think
G. Bush can say the girl who asked him about the dress looks terrific when she doesn't.
Right.
And it could be a perfect answer.
Yeah.
And a flat out lie.
But here's the thing. Like, if I don't think she's that attractive, she looks terrific compared to what she looked yesterday. Right? What if she's just wearing shorts? I'm like, well, you was a 5 there. You got the dress on. That's at least a 6.5. But on the top-notch scale overall, like of all the people in the world with that same dress, you're not going to come in the top 30. I think that's the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, Watson looks great in the dress that is in context of what we're doing in our practice. But how does that dress look going out amongst supermodels in the NFL game?
Right.
Could I stay on quarterbacks with change for a sec? Thank you. ESPN wrote an article about yesterday's Baltimore Ravens practice, and I saw Daniel Oyefusi retweeted it, so I read it. In Ravens camp yesterday, they intentionally practiced changing up Lamar Jackson's cadence in an effort to get the defense to get all wonky and jump off sides. You know what the result was? 8 false starts for the offense, which goes back to the conversation we've had a million times about cadence, working on cadence. When you hear a quarterback of the caliber of Lamar, who we all agree is a top 5 unquestioned quarterback in football, mixing up his cadence in practice in an attempt to draw guys off sides. Does it give you a little more lenience in how you look at some of the issues that the Browns, all 4 quarterbacks have had?
No.
Reportedly, in terms of getting the cadence down in this stage of camp?
I like what you said right there.
You said they had 8 false starts?
Lamar Jackson
had 8 false starts in practice yesterday.
Oh, so now, but G. Bush just say we can't put it on the quarterback?
Well, I was just asking, how do you look at it when you know quarterback
I don't
of
know.
Lamar's status versus the Browns?
Lamar Jackson is a proven great player in the league. There's no comparison.
I'm just asking the question.
I'm saying I'm going to give a level of benefit of the doubt to Lamar Jackson that I won't give to any quarterback on the Browns because they haven't proven they're good. I mean, Deshaun Watson at one point was good, but it's been so long that he gets no benefit of the doubt.
The Ravens have a veteran offense with one voice, right? I see why the cadence was, if you change up your snap count and somebody been listening to one snap count for since they've been there, it could cause something in one practice. I think the difference between with the Browns and Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, I think with the cadence conversation, we have to look at 3 things. First, they got a bunch of young dudes playing. Mm-hmm. 2, they got a brand new offense that they're installing. They just finished install like 2 days ago. Yeah. So that's going to happen. 3, you got 2 quarterbacks that's competing for a competition. They have 3 new cadences that they all learn. So that means that there's 3 for Deshaun Watson, there's 3 for Dylan Gabriel, and 3 for Shedeur Sanders. So that means you're sitting there with 9 different voices, 3 by 3 different people that they just have. So that's going to cause an issue off top. And then the 4th thing is when you're splitting reps, it's different voices all the time. So if you were to just say this person's going to be the guy and just build the offense around him based on that, you would have a lot of that stuff that would stop.
So you're making an argument that it's actually more egregious that Lamar Jackson is that the offense had false starts.
Well, no, not necessarily, because Lamar Jackson has been there for like 6 years, and so he's been a franchise quarterback.
A new coaching staff.
It's a new coaching staff.
Yeah.
So that plays a role into it. It's a new cadence, and so if we just come in today, right, and we do a show, and we either have Anthony or McNuggets or Earl that's producing, we get a completely different producer, and he comes in.
Yeah.
Are we going to run like a machine? No.
No, because that's true.
The topics will be different. like the cadence, how he wants you to go to break. McNuggets can look at you and you just know what it is. Like, you know what we trying to get done. But a new dude come in, it's going to be a different voice. It ain't going to be as smooth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at it. So my thing is, if you got one producer and got one person and just let them keep repping it out, it'd be awesome. But then again, that's what we're waiting to get.
I mean, the Browns are going to be behind the 8 ball compared to most teams, even when the season starts.
Yes.
Because of that. Because whoever, most likely, we're not going to know the starting quarterback until after the Buffalo game, which is 3 weeks before the season starts. Whereas other quarterbacks have been working with their line more consistently.
That's what Kevin O'Connell said when asked about why he decided now that Kyler Murray was going to be the Vikings starting quarterback over J.J. McCarthy. He said, we need Kyler to be the guy. And for the next month before the season starts, he needs all the reps with the ones. He needs all the reps with his receivers. There's no more time to split.
The fact that nobody has taken a stranglehold of this job is why they haven't been able to do it. I assume that's why. I don't know.
It's tricky because I think the two things that I think Todd Monken said something the other day, which I think was intriguing. He said, I get anxiety of the pre-snap stuff. So coaches are control freaks.
Yeah.
Like, they want the quarterback to be the extension of who they are.
Yep.
And if you are different in certain ways or you don't communicate the certain way, that's why I talk about with Kevin Stefanski and Shador, whatever the case may be, he has a comfort level in the way maybe Dylan Gabriel or Flacco go about communicating. So somebody may be better. But the coaches always used to tell me, hey, listen, when you play, I don't know how you do it. Sometimes you don't be in your gap during practice. Sometimes I don't know what you're looking at. You don't seem like you're there. But the game comes around and you make these plays, it's like, how did you see, what are you doing? So it's uncomfortable for them because they want to see the proof. They want to know what they're getting, yes. They don't want no surprises. And the thing about people with quarterbacks is, they don't like surprises. Shador is going to give you some surprises. They can be good, and they can be bad sometimes. But Deshaun Watson gives you the worst surprise. That surprise is once they get to the line of scrimmage and they throw the ball, the surprise is, why did you throw it there, dog?
And there's the opposite. Doing? There's the opposite, too. There are guys who thrive in practice who then can't translate it to the actual game. We've all played with, and I'm sure there's people that you've coached who you feel good about going to the game. They get there and just like, that's not what you just did in the week leading up to the actual situation. That's not what you did all camp. It goes both ways. And from a coaching standpoint, and I know baseball is different than football, and the level you coach, Bull, is not. But I'm curious if it does have any translation. Like, coaches want to know what they can expect from a certain player in a game because they want to know, can I trust you to make the right decision or execute the said play when the live bullets are flying?
I mean, in baseball, with kids baseball, there are kids who in practice will hit, and then in the game, they're scared because the pitcher's throwing harder than you're getting in batting practice. So you'll see that, and it's the same on some level. It's the same thing. Like, a quarterback in practice knows he's not getting hit.
Right.
He knows that, and that gives you a level of calm that you're not going to get in a game ever.
There was a pass, I think it was 2 practices ago. Shador hit somebody on a deep ball. If it was a live rep, he would have been put in the dirt because the offensive line left the guy. And it's not a knock on Shador. This is the offensive line missed the assignment. Guy came flying through, ran was 3 yards past Shador when he threw it. Mm-hmm. It's a completion it's a completion because it worked, but he would have been a loss of 8 in the play and maybe getting carted off because the dude came in untouched down the middle. It does make a huge difference.
It's the biggest difference between practice because defensive linemen always say it like, come on, bro. Yeah. Either I'm going to get my hand up or I'm going to make you move from that spot. And that's where they make their money.
And that's why the stats in practice are stupid. It's completely ridiculous.
Like you even see Jared Verse. Jared Verse came in, and I don't know how they let him happen, but he came through in like a strip sack, and he hit Deshaun Watson's arm, and I almost was like, that's a gaff. You never are allowed to do that.
In the Bengals practice the other day, Dexter Lawrence hit Burrow.
Oh boy,
that was almost.
People freak out when that happens. Like, so you are right. That's why I'm a proponent of. Tyvis said it all the time. We're going to find out what the quarterback's going to be, especially when you're going against another grown man who needs to pay his bills. And this is on tape. Yeah. They ain't going to give you no, they're not going to take it easy on you. So we're ready to see it.